flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much, and welcome to our Monday, May 20th meeting at 7 p.m. First, I just want to apologize for being a little warm in here. The air conditioning system decided to fail this afternoon, and calls have been placed, but they'll be here tomorrow. So, starting off. First, we'll have a public hearing in regards to the adoption of local law number 5 entitled Extended Moratorium prohibiting the review and approval of certain land development applications in the village of Washingtonville for a continuation of 6 months. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion to open.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you. Open it to the public if anyone has any questions. Again, this is just a process that we've done previously, and it's just a continuation of our moratorium for an additional 6 months. While we are currently, the comprehensive plan is pretty much being completed, but it's in the process of being documented. And so for the next 6 months, we're meeting to go over our zoning codes and making those modifications as necessary. Okay. There's no questions. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Have a second, please.
Second.
Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next would be any public comment on agenda items, if anyone has any questions.
Just on agenda items?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Paul Lang, Washingtonville. I just lost it. Number 2, the Veterans Banner Program.
The veteran, yes.
How many of those have you sold now? The last time was 13.
Yeah, we're up at about 25 in that
Okay.
neighborhood.
Where are they gonna be placed?
On the telephone poles.
Did we get the permit from
Opposite,
Orange
the
and Rockland?
opposite of the flag poles.
Did we get the permit from Orange and Rockland?
Well, we already have the permits for the flag, so we're going to just put them on the opposite side. And we have a call out actually to our local Orange and Rockland rep that I guess is in charge of telephone poles. So, yes.
Okay, because we know that it's not legal to put them on there without.
Well, we already have permits for the American flag, so I don't believe that that would be an issue to
We have an
add a banner.
actual printed permit for the flag?
That's been done years ago.
Could I foil for it and see a copy of it?
If we can find it. Those flags have been up there for well over 15 years, so I don't know if we're gonna have the records prior to 2011.
I mean,
Well, you can
you know
certainly
where
ask.
I'm going. It's going back to the Little League banners. There was a big thing with Orange and Rockland, and Orange and Rockland told us you can't hang those things on a flagpole, on the telephone pole, utility pole.
Okay,
And somebody in the town, on the town board, told me that the town had a permit, and somebody on the south, at the time, the South Blooming Grove Village Board, told me they had a permit. I asked both of them to just send me a copy of it, and I never got it.
why would the town
Because it didn't exist.
have it?
Somebody on the town board
But
that's
if
still on the town board.
if there was nothing, then the flags have been mounted every year for well over 20 years. I mean, I think Marge or myself might have been the first mayor to have them installed, but that long ago, I don't, requirements change as well. Maybe they weren't, but, I've gone through probably 10 different communities, and those veteran banners are everywhere. So like I said, I have O&R, his number, reaching out to him to have that conversation.
And hopefully get a permit just to make it legit, God forbid anything happens. and they're not there, and they're there, and then Orange and Rockland comes in and says, well, they weren't supposed to be there.
Well, we'll cross that bridge if it happens, but like I said, I'm gonna be reaching out to them beforehand. So, you know, the order is in, they're in the process of creating the banners. There's lots of interest, this thing isn't gonna go away, it's not a one-time show, it'll be continuing as long as somebody is interested in putting a banner up of someone who was a veteran, or is a veteran. And we'll take it from there and see where it goes.
And I guess also on item number 11, Kiwanis Club Flag for Heroes
Yes,
at 9/11 Memorial Park. I see it's been completed today. Has any thought gone into that, the advertising for the Kiwanis Club Flag for Heroes that was placed on Ahern?
say that, we mean
There's
advertising. You mean their
there's a
banner?
banner there,
Right,
permanently installed on 2 pipes now. Is that banner gonna be used solely for Kiwanis, or is it gonna be used for every other, you know,
as needed, we put that there because they had it, and because the other areas in this EJ Square are occupied with all the other banners. They had this longer banner, and they asked, could it be posted someplace where there's enough traffic? And that obviously, they brought it to our attention, looking at Ahern and 94, and we said, sure, let's take a look at it. So, you know, the
Did you guys take a look
location
at it?
can be permanent, but depending on who has a banner and if it's needed, it's available.
did you guys take a look at it? The location?
Yeah, we looked at it.
Okay.
I mean, when we talked about it, I
the way-
haven't been there
The
since
way,
the
the
banner.
way the
went up.
banner, the way the banner is situated now, the only people that see it are someone going on 94 East and turning into the development, all right? That's the first thing. The
Mhm.
second thing is, it's not obstructing the view of the traffic coming west on 94. But in my, I would say professional opinion, as a licensed certified driving school instructor, it's a big distraction, because somebody's making a left into that development, they're catching that sign, they're now, for that 2 seconds, they're not looking at traffic coming at them at 40 or 50 miles an hour coming down the hill, or traffic coming out. They could have put it, you know, maybe you could have looked at a location like on Revere and Ahern. You know, after you make the left on Revere and Ahern, in that little corner green area, maybe where it is, it's just, I think it's a big distraction
Okay,
for people coming in there. And because I already put in a note, what we call them, an incident report for the double yellow line on that part of Ahern also. I know we were planning on it in the other Ahern, but that part of Ahern from Revere to 94 still needs that yellow line, that double yellow line. People don't know how to drive.
yeah. Sad but true. Okay, thank you. Anyone else on agenda items? Okay. All right, to start off for the law enforcement technology grant, the villages have been notified through our police department that, through the efforts of our Chief Sicaro, that they had put in for, and Brian, if you want to give any kind of update, but at the end of the day, we have received the information that we will be receiving a $99,500 grant for municipal park cameras, police vehicle computer systems, surveillance cameras, and license plate readers. And I know Brian did a lot of work on this. We also reached out to our state representatives. They also gave us letters of recommendation, and that probably helped between Senator Skoufis and Assemblyman Marr. So we'd like to thank them publicly for their efforts and the department in receiving this almost $100,000 grant for our police department. So, Brian, do you have anything you want to add or anything?
Just that over the next couple of months, we'll be meeting, trying to figure out locations. Obviously Memorial Park was number one,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll look at different locations, parking lots to put cameras, license
Yep.
plate readers, things like that.
Good. Yeah, keep us in the loop, and it'd be especially on the memorial, because we've been working on that quite a bit to get the cameras and so forth. And I know we have a meeting coming up this week with Crown Castle, right, to check out the availability and locations and so forth of internet connection and wiring and so forth. So that is coming down the pike. Great. Next is basically the update on the veteran banner. As I just mentioned, we're in the neighborhood of about 25 banners so far. So that's a good sign, lots of people, lots of interest. And again, it's not a one-time thing, so as people are finding out about it and making them aware of it, that they can participate in it, so it's real good.
And also determine that there's a maximum of $200, I believe.
Well, if it's for one sign, it's about $200 for the brackets and the banner, yes.
But we order more,
And
the price drops.
Right, and since we're in the 25, the price is gonna come down a little bit. So currently, the pricing was $165.45, and checks are coming in to, cover all that good stuff, so. Next item is, we did pass this past Wednesday, the Girl Scout Troop 475, in our plans of the beautification of Ahern Boulevard. They actually planted our first tree, and it was quite an event. There were lots of kids, and it was great. Our DPW guys, thanks Chris for preparing the hole and getting things ready for the tree. And we're out there for probably a good hour, and it's up and it looks really good, and we're just gonna water it now, and we are planning to do another planting. Hopefully we can get it in by say June 1. And through the summertime, it's not the best to be planting trees and so forth, that we've been told, so we'll do a fall planting as more interest comes up. These trees are two and a half inches round. They're about 7 feet or so tall, and the tree cost is about $275 per tree. And there's still a lot of good interest, and people are sending in their kind of applications and so forth. So when we get ready to pull the trigger, we'll be talking to the nursery and get to the point to install those trees in the same area. So that was all good. Let's see, this past Saturday, we did a, kind of a community flower pot planting. The kind of not great news is that we didn't really have that great of a turnout. There was obviously lots of things going on that day with sports and children and so forth. So with that, I'd really like to express my thanks to Jeannie Persuavel, Jean Galley, Patrice Gissner for all your help, and also Joe and Karen Natali, friends of ours as well. And we basically did 37 planters. We did some plantings on the corners. We did some plantings at the village hall. So at the end of the day, I think it's the flowers are gonna make the village look really nice in a week or so as they start to grow and bloom. They're really nice flowers. Got them from a local Twin Pond up in Montgomery, to give him a little bit of a plug. Very nice gentleman. And so that was all done, so thank you very much again for your half a day's worth of hard work. Just another reminder that the Memorial Day Parade is this coming Monday, the 27th at 10. Lineups will start probably around 9 o'clock with trucks and fire engines and the heavier equipment, and then people will file in behind that. Same course as last year. It'll be leaving the high school, coming down 94. The American flag will be over the intersection. Fire department will assist with that. Washingtonville, and I believe maybe, I'm not sure if it's going to be South Blooming Grove or potentially Salisbury Mills, but either way, it will be very nice. And then going down Arrow Point and then ending over at the Memorial Park with some light refreshments and so forth. Okay. Also that morning, the VFW does a couple of ceremonies. over at 8 o'clock in the morning at St. Mary's Cemetery, 8:30 at the Washingtonville Presbyterian Cemetery, and then finally they end up down at the VFW Memorial across from the pharmacy. That'll be at 9 o'clock. And then from there, they'll be involved in the parade. There'll be an audit financial update in June from our auditors. We plan on doing that. Also, our MetLife insurance policy is up for renewal for our employees. There's no change in any cost, just,
Hey, Mr. Mayor, Bill Graber, Washington Boulevard.
Can you, sorry,
Bill Graber,
thank you.
Washington Boulevard. The audit, the report on the audit is for which fiscal years?
I'm sorry.
The audit report is on which fiscal years?
It'll be on 20, an update on 21 and potentially 22. And we did post the information for 2020, the management letter, as well as the budget itself is out there. Okay. Let's see, as I just mentioned, the MetLife. So also, there was a question at the last meeting regarding election results. So the judge received 187, Steve received 183, and Vernon received 186. There was also a question in regards to the pond over at between Washington and Winchester. DEC, dredging, all this type of stuff. So I found out basically that it is a DEC pond. Permitting would be required if we were doing anything to the pond, like dredging, backhoeing the banks of the pond. But generally speaking, beyond that, there are no requirements to really do anything to the pond. So I hope that answers, I guess, some of the questions that were out there. I think Sean was concerned or had those questions, so if he watches this, or I'll try to reach out to him tomorrow and just give him that update. Also, as mentioned, the Kiwanis Club, just a big thank you to that organization for the Flags for Hero at the 9/11 Memorial Park. It looks fantastic, and they'll be up, I think until August, and then they come down in preparation for the 9/11 ceremonies. Okay, any comments or anything from the
No, I
board?
think last year they took them down a couple days before the ceremony.
Yep, same plan. Okay, next would be into resolution, so 24-0055, resolution to adopt local law number 5, entitled extending moratorium prohibiting the review and approval of certain land developments application in the village of Washingtonville for 6 months, which would bring us to December 1st. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
I have a second.
Who was the second?
Susan?
Susan.
Susan was the second. Any questions or comments? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. 24-0056, resolution to appoint Steve N. Mogul as special counsel and approve retainer agreement at the rate of $250 an hour with no charge for travel time. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Have a second? Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. 24-0058, resolution to authorize the Village of Washingtonville to advertise for bids for wastewater treatment plant operation building roof replacement. Bids will be received by the village and publicly opened and read at 2 p.m. on Thursday, June 6, 2024. Have a motion, please.
Mayor, is
I'll go
there,
back up. Okay.
is there a difference between 57 and 58? Okay,
Yeah,
we skipped
I
57.
missed it. Thank you. So on 58, have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second? Second. Any questions, comments?
No,
All in
that's
favor?
fine.
Motion passes 5-0. 24-0057, authorize the Village of Washingtonville to advertise for the bids for North Street Drainage Project. Bids will be received by the village and publicly open and read at 2 PM on Thursday, June 6th. Have a motion, please. Second? Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you very much. 24-0059, resolution to authorize the employment of Donald Vernon as Department of Public Works laborer commencing May 16, 2024, at an hourly rate of $25.74. Have a motion, please. Have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
How many members we have in the Department of Public Works now?
Well, let me finish this and I'll,
Or you just had questions?
well, questions for the
For
board.
us.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We try to keep public comments, agenda items are only in the beginning and all other items at the end.
Well, this is a resolution, so I can try to encourage somebody on the board to vote one way or another, hopefully.
Right, but that's why you could have brought it up in the beginning. for
That wasn't an
items.
agenda,
So
it's
this
a
brings us-
resolution.
This is a replacement of an employee that has retired. Okay, and we have one, and we had another, one additional opening to replace current staff. This is not an addition to. Okay, any questions, comments on the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0, thank you. Resolution to authorize the promotion of Carl Burke and John Page to the position of Department of Public Works Working Leader effective this day, May 20th, 2024. Motion, please.
Motion.
Have a second.
Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0, thank you. Resolution 24-0061, to authorize the negotiations of Energy Resources Corporation for the village electric and gas rates. Have a motion? Second. Have a second. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0, thank you. Let's see, motion, 24-0062 is a resolution to authorize budget transfers and amendments as necessary to effect necessary transfers of funds to pay warrants. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Okay. We're back to public comment on any particular subject.
Just just a question, what is
Just your
this,
name and address again.
Bill
Sorry.
Raver, Washington Boulevard,
Thanks.
what is the starting salary of our police officers, an hourly wage?
That, well, Chief, you wanna fill in?
Off the top of my head, I'm thinking 53,000.
Yeah, it was in the 50s. If it's,
So it's
I
comparable
wanna
to-
say if it's a brand-new person, but if they come with experience, then they could, land in a higher
But
slot.
starting a new officer out of the academy.
Right, it's about, I think 53-ish, somewhere in there.
Okay, so it's the same as the laborer, as the village laborer,
2574.
yeah, it's 53,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other, yep.
So again, can you give me a number of employees in the DPW?
So with this addition, we're at 12, and you would be 13, correct?
No.
Or not?
I think that's 11 and then, that's 12.
11, 12, okay,
12 total,
Oh,
total.
including
Thank
the
you.
superintendent.
Okay. Diane,
Okay, I have a few.
Name and address,
Can you-
please.
can you leave your name and address again?
Diane Mack, 25 Capitol Drive. First of all, I want to say thank you for getting the potholes filled in. Whatever, some people are unhappy, it's only temporary, I appreciate it. You make the turn, you're not falling into the hole. That one in 94 and 208, thank you. The potted plants look lovely. The next question, when's pickleball gonna be done? Not funny.
Why is it
Just
serious?
question. Yeah, I'm just,
Well, it's not funny, dude. We're just waiting, we were notified from the company last week that we would be hearing this week from their project management person to schedule the painting.
Okay,
And when the painting is concluded and dry, then the remaining portions of the fence will be completed, the nets can be installed, and pickleball can commence.
We already have the nets.
and, okay.
Yeah,
Because
the
I know
nets,
the town is gonna be done in June, behind corner canvas store, so that's why I'm just wondering.
yeah, no,
It was gonna get done by June, so this one's halfway done, wanna
Yeah.
know if it's done.
if they get it done, that's great. I mean, it's more, obviously more courts for everybody.
Yes, it'd be great, and if we could use it during the summer would be better.
Sure,
The sign of Fireman's Memorial Park,
yes.
what happened to it?
One leg was rotted, so we took it down to replace the legs. And the sign itself was in need of maintenance, so we're doing maintenance on it and preparing to repaint it.
Okay,
And
So
I'm
back up.
meeting with I'm meeting with John and Bob on Wednesday to meet with them at the park to go over that. And I think also I don't know exactly what you call it, but the board that has the firemen's, history and names and so forth, pictures near the walkway, I think somebody had indicated that one of the legs on that is in need of repair, so we're gonna, take a look at some of those things.
okay, as long as it goes back up.
Yep.
The street sweeper.
Yep.
Is it working?
No, we had a spring break, and you wanna give an update?
It was actually due in today.
Okay,
It was shipped here, so
okay.
last I heard.
So we were waiting for the spring, and we didn't get any FedEx boxes, so as soon as it's here, it'll be back on the road.
Okay. I mentioned the last time I was here about the yard sales and the garage signs, garage sale signs and everything. So there are several out there. One's on the corner of Decker and Ahern, right across the street from the park. The other one's on Pembroke and Ahern. Now, when they go buy them up, and no disrespect, I'm not attacking the DPW, don't take it personally, nothing like that. But when they mow the grass, they pick the sign up, and then they put the sign back. 4 weeks. The sign is from New Windsor. Why isn't it thrown away? The old dates.
Are they dated? They are dated? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So why do you?
Well, that,
I don't understand.
to be honest with you, the building inspector is normally the one that picks all that stuff up, most of the time.
Mhm.
I'm not saying I don't like, but I don't want everybody running around the village and just pulling signs out of the ground, and that can be a little messy too.
But
I'd
it's
rather
not-
get on the phone and call the person and say, listen, we pulled your sign, because usually there might be a phone number or an address, so maybe we can track them. And we're not gonna bend over like 10 times backwards with this thing, but we wanna get the sign, and if there's a number, we can call them and say, if you want your sign, it's down at the village hall or at the police department or at DPW, and you can pick it up. But you're right, I mean, it's just us driving around more and seeing what's out there.
You're mowing, the mowing,
Yeah,
they pick it up,
well, that's being, I wanna say
throw it in the
courteous,
garbage.
but at the end of the day, they could, at least they're putting it back up. Maybe it shouldn't be there, I get it, but it's not their responsibility to figure out a date or how, they don't even know how long it's gonna be out there at
Well,
the end of
it's been
the
out
day.
there for 4 weeks,
Okay,
so.
so we got the
Since
intersections, we'll get rid of it.
April 21st community yard sale, they've been out there since then.
Okay,
Today's May 20th,
Okay.
they're out there for a month.
okay.
What else do I got? Okay, the street sweeper we spoke about, but when people put the brown bags out with the leaves in it, or supposedly leaves, and they don't get picked up, and they sit there for weeks, again, no disrespect, okay? There's a couple of houses between 54 Decker and 58 Decker. They're always there. I don't know what they have in there, but if they're not picking them up, they got out of the truck to look to see that, oh, we don't take that. can we educate the resident and put a note on it? Or put a note on their door and say, listen, we're not taking, grass clippings, rocks, leaves, whatever in those bags that's not getting picked up.
Right,
And the other thing is over there, they have beautiful front lawns, but they throw everything into the street, everything that's blown into the street. So, you know, you have a beautiful lawn, but forget about everybody else. To me, that's rude and disrespectful.
yeah.
I mean, there should be,
Everybody, if you're doing that kind of stuff, then blow it back to the curb and sweep it up and put it in a bag and we'll get it later.
right,
That's just-
exactly,
Common
But-
sense, common courtesy for yourself, your neighbors, and your community.
right.
You
And
know,
again,
take care of it.
educate the homeowner.
Yep.
Because obviously they don't know that
Yeah.
you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, and we can, depending on, and we've gotten, recently we created a door knocker kind of a thing that we had years ago. So we can keep them in the trucks, and if there happens to be
That's all, just keep
rocks
them
and
in the
things we
truck.
can't take, we can put it on their door and explain to them, we can't take this, and please discard of, bring it to,
That's all,
the dump,
educate, that's
or
all.
someplace, because we
Because
can't
who
take
knows
that stuff.
when they moved in,
Right,
are they new to the neighborhood, they don't know.
right,
Educate, that's
Yep.
all I'm saying. Last
Agreed.
question,
communications.
that's all. My last question, I put an incident report in for the culvert between One Capitol and Liberty Court. It's an ongoing thing. I didn't get an email back to say that it got received
When did you send it?
last week.
Okay.
So the question is, do you think it's gonna get done anytime soon?
What department did you send it to?
DPW, probably.
But did you?
What was the issue?
The culvert between it's behind One Capitol
Yeah,
and Liberty, we spoke about it several times. It's been marked out for electrical or whatever, everybody, 811 was
Yeah,
called last year.
okay,
I'm just
all right, I
wondering
know what you're talking about.
when is it gonna get cleaned out?
Well, we talked about that actually last week probably, because it's still on our short list of stuff from last year now. And we were just taking care of, because the weather did dry out, that we wanted to take care of some major stuff that was hanging. So that stuff's been done. I'll talk to Chris and we'll get out there and see. When I went down there, as I explained to you last year, when it was really one of the bad rainstorms, the rainstorms were, the water was flowing down through those easements and through the pipes without any hesitation. Now, what we need to do is get in there and cut down the weeds so we can actually see the riprap and make sure everything is fine. But that water was flowing like it should. There was no impediment, there was no ponding, nothing was backing up. The water was flowing fine. So we're gonna clean it and get down into it and check it.
Well,
But if it's running and there's no issue, we're not gonna dig it up for the sake of just digging it up.
well, I beg to differ.
That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, we're gonna go out and check it. I'm not,
Everything else got cleaned out, right? All the other culverts got cleaned out. I've been asking for 2 years for that to be cleaned out.
yeah,
People dump stuff back there.
Yep.
I mean, just clean
Well-
it out. And the water would probably flow a lot better if it was cleaned out. Yes, it was flowing, but if you would go to the lady on 15 Capitol, she probably got 7 hoses running out her basement window.
yeah.
So the water's not flowing
The
the way
problem,
it should.
part of the other problem, Diane, is since last year, we've had, somebody who was doing this and tracking it, told me that we had over 80 inches of rains in like a year. Now, we've had more ponding problems, more wet backyards, more water coming across the sidewalks than ever before, and it's directly related to all the rain we've had. And there's a lot of ponds, there's a lot of springs, things, development comes in, the pond disappears, or, whatever. You got this stuff all over the place. I personally was digging a hole the other day. I went down 8 inches, almost a foot, and it was mush. It was like mud before I actually hit solid dirt. And that's what we're dealing with, and if you're in an area that has unfortunately a high water table or springs, that, you know, this is what happens.
I would just think that getting cleared out may help the situation at the top of the hill.
Well,
So-
like I said, it's there, we'll take a look at it for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Given.
Vincent Lewis Lang, Plymouth Rock Court. I'm gonna piggyback on her real quick, her pothole repair, well done. I know Deputy Mayor, Jack Russo was making a couple posts on Facebook about it. Why do we have to, I brought this up before about other code violations, why do we have to self-report?
Why do we have to
Why
wait?
is it necessary to self-report? You made a comment on Facebook, to self-report, it got fixed, it was, you know, instead of complaining on Facebook, you know, fill out the request, and it was fixed within 24 hours,
Mhm.
right? That pothole's been there for a while. There's several potholes throughout the village.
Right.
All right, they're there. I hit them, there's several, I got a list. Why do we have to self-report? I know the DPW is busy, but they're driving around every day, they come down my block every day. There's a pothole in my block that's just as deep as the one on Ballard.
Yeah,
But it doesn't get fixed until somebody fills out a form. Why not just be proactive and get it done?
That is being proactive. If we miss something,
That's not being
We're-
proactive,
there are
that's being
five-
reactive to a piece of
What?
paper.
Vinny, one at a time, please, I'm trying to type
there
everything
are
down.
5 of us. If we see something, we will fill out the incident reports ourselves.
But the DPW guys are out there every single day mowing, riding around, picking up brush, picking up trees when they're doing the chipping at the last Wednesday of the month. The potholes are there. Are we on the mentality of, if nobody's complaining about it, don't fix it?
no.
No.
Like a dealership, you know, it's
No.
under warranty, if they're not complaining about it, don't
No.
fix it.
No.
The potholes are there.
Listen, the pothole, you're right, and
Plymouth
this,
Rock
and this
Court,
village has more
Liberty Court.
potholes.
Vinny.
Capitol and Decker,
Hey,
Puritan Lane, Botanic, Hampshire and Carlisle, same
Great.
size potholes.
So you
Every-
have the list.
Listen, I
Fill out
understand
an
it,
incident
my
report.
question is, why do we have to self-report? Why can't the village be proactive? The DPW guys are driving around, seeing the same stuff. They're the ones that are gonna fix it eventually if I put the form in, correct?
yes, eventually, yes.
Depending on the road, some of them are not.
Like, are we running that list already? Do we have a list, a running list, or are we just waiting for residents to fill
No,
out?
we're not waiting. The
Prevent-
problem is,
to prevent the
Vinny, these
nonsense
roads,
that happens.
roads have not
Vinny,
been.
one at a
touched.
time, I can't type down both of
Roads
you.
have not been touched since
It's on video.
2018, okay? So no roads have had really any kind of maintenance at all. So to say you're in a catch-up mode, it's like throwing 1,000 golf balls in the air and trying to catch them all. They're all over the place. And we pick out certain times of the week that we go out and we run and do that job. Because obviously, with the amount of staff that we have a tremendous amount of everything to do. So if it's not mowing the lawns, it's changing water meters. I could show you, the list is enormous, and we juggle it and we keep moving it around. One thing that we're trying to do also that we don't have and really at this point can't afford to maybe buy, but a hot box where you can actually get a couple of yards of asphalt, you put it in this box, and it lasts. And you can drive around and then attack this stuff. But we rely, I mean, that's the purpose of this system, is that if somebody sees something, then report it. You're helping us, and we're not mad at anybody that's sending any information to us, because we drive around, sometimes I hit a pothole, I'll take a picture of it, I go into the IM Care system, I send it to Chris, hey, found this big hole. I reported Tolman Road, up between Decker and Canterbury, the 2 big ones, boom, they filled them in. It's just the amount of stuff that goes on, we don't have, say, 3 or 4 days to put everything else to the side and drive around with asphalt in the truck, and we would get this, again, hot box, it keeps it warm so it doesn't get cold, and it's pliable and it's usable. Then we can actually do a little bit more, and we're working on that right now with the town. So I get it. I mean, I'm as frustrated as everybody else that lives in here and driving down the road, and then of course you hit the state road and, you know, your front end's gonna fall off the car. But, you know, the roads are in bad shape. They are in bad shape. I mean, if we had $20 million to throw at roads, boom, we could repave the entire bill. But it's expensive. I posted, you know, Ahern and Secord and Lincoln was $324,000. It's insanity. And it's almost, what, $90 a yard for hot asphalt now, $86, $87, somewhere in that ballpark. The cost is crazy. But we do appreciate everybody, and if you have that, we'll take it and we'll scan it into the system. But again, it takes all of us to work together to get it done, because it's just letting us know what's out there and we'll take care of it.
Who manages the village government Facebook site?
I do.
Is there a reason why we don't post our meetings when they are
I saw
on?
the comment. I mean,
I'm just making
they're
a
on the
comment now.
calendar, but if,
Well, you post Orange County meetings, you post their agendas, you post during the budget hearings when we had those.
yes, the budget hearings, yeah.
That was the last time, but I'm just asking, because you post Orange County legislative meetings every time, and their agendas. Obviously, a lot of people get their news on Facebook,
We can do it.
unfortunately.
Big deal, right?
I just,
All the meetings?
Yeah.
When we say meetings, are we talking about just village board meetings or
Anything
every
like-
meeting?
a meeting
Planning board,
for the public to
Listen,
know.
This is a perfect, another conversation with another technology that we're looking at. Well, we wouldn't have to potentially have this conversation because it happens automatically. And we're looking at some applications that are on your phone, and what ends up happening is we can basically type out a message and it's broadcast, and we say it's a meeting. So it hits the hits the village calendar, it hits Facebook, Anytime, Fun Time, any of these social media sites gets the message. And our job is done with one email.
That'd be great.
So that's what we're working towards, because it's frustrating as hell, time consuming, using resources to do it the old fashioned way. It's basically PDF files, send it to the web guy, do this, do that.
Listen, managing social media is a full-time job.
It is.
I'm well aware of that.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But, you know, but you do post the Orange County legislators every time. You don't post our own village meetings, so I was, you know,
Right, because our village meetings are on the calendar, so. we
nobody
figured
goes
that's
to,
the place
you
for
know,
the
nobody goes
meetings.
there.
This is the place for additional, but I sent those links out, you know how many times? The resident letter that went out, I had sent the link to our official Facebook page, to our YouTube channel, and to the website, so that every resident received that.
Yeah. You
And
know,
I've been
we can do
posting
that.
them also on the additional Village of Washingtonville unofficial
Just
Facebook
like to see more
pages.
people show up and be
because
more involved, and, you know,
people
that way they
still
know
go
that
to-
they're aware.
Yeah,
But we
we'll
the
put it out
people.
there, it's not a big deal. It's just, like I said, when we get to this, we're looking at applications right now, Vernon's kinda taking the lead on that stuff, and, you know, we've looked at probably, what, 5 or 6 different applications at the end of the day? And, they're all kinda similar, and we're just, you know, looking at it to make a decision. We're looking for one that can also still maintain a message over a telephone, because we have to think about and try to accommodate people that might not have smartphones or a phone that, you know, potentially doesn't take text messaging. So it'll still ring your house the old-fashioned way like the system is currently doing. But they're a lot better, and we can notify you for everything and anything. Weather events, all that kind of stuff. It's similar to what the state does. If it's a catastrophic type emergency, we can send stuff out, or missing children, whatever. This one app can also assist with the police department if they're looking for a vehicle and someone had a picture, that it's integrated into the application. He sends it out, everybody in the village could be looking for, you know, 1932 jalopy. And, you know, this was the issue that we're looking for. So, but yeah, we can do that.
My last item. I don't know if the village board is aware, the village of South Blooming Grove, last Thursday, planning board meeting. Several projects in the pipeline that basically are approved, or getting approved, or they will be approved. That involves clear cutting lots of land. Mr. Mayor, I'm well aware of your opinion on ceasing all water deliveries outside this village. I would like to get a perspective of each of my elected trustees at this time on that issue alone, of water deliveries leaving the village to support Village of South Blooming Grove and expansion of what they're doing. Department of Health says they don't have the water, DEC they said they don't have the water. My second question to you, Mr. Mayor, twice you said last meeting that we need to get the money while we can before it dries up, that they're gonna be connecting to the village, the city viaduct. I did my research, I looked at the state level, city level, county level, I didn't see that anywhere. I just wanna know where you got that information from.
Several years ago, there was an advertisement, or not advertisement, was the pipeline that they ran down 32. And now that connection supposedly has been made and is now in New Windsor on Riley Road, connected in the area of their water plant up there, which is right next to the aqueduct, I'll call it, that goes to New York City.
Going
So you need to, I think if you're talking to other people, this has been in the works for a bunch of years now, but there used to be politicians. There was even discussions about the size of the pipe that was supposed to be installed. And then it was went from an 18-inch pipe to a 24-inch pipe. And then there were politicians standing on the site, almost in front of the equipment, to get somebody's attention to the problem.
So we're talking about the village of South Blooming Grove, correct, you're saying?
No, I'm talking about the pipeline that's running down 32.
To go-
Where that's gonna end up, frankly, it's either gonna be, I would assume, the town, the pump, and/or somehow get interconnected to potentially help South Blooming Grove. I don't know.
But you made a statement saying they are last meeting.
Well, that's what that water was, that's what that pipeline was installed for,
Not the village of South Blooming Grove, no, it's not.
for Palm,
Yes,
yes.
well, we're talking about
Palm.
village of South Blooming Grove.
Okay, so like we said, we sell the water to a company, right? What he does with that water is totally up to him. Now, he fills pools, whatever business he does with that water, it's his. I'm not gonna sit here and tell him who he can't deliver water to. You needed water in your pool, no, don't go to Vinnie's house. I mean, we're selling the water, and we're using that money for a village project.
Any other comments?
So the trustees won't answer my other question?
What was the question?
Your opinion on water deliveries leaving our village supporting the expansion of South Blooming Grove?
Exactly what he just said. No, that's not what
I'm
I
asking my
will say
elected
is
trustees a
just what
question.
Tom said. We're selling the water to Spindler. It's like telling a food company not to sell their food to certain distributors because of where that food might end up.
But we have a moral responsibility
That's
to
right.
protect our village.
And that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
100%
If you
that's
watch
what
that-
we're doing.
If you watched the planning board meeting last Thursday, they are clear cutting tons of land.
And we can't
I know.
control
We
that.
can control what we have. And our moral responsibility is to keep what we have in the village.
You're not keeping anything, because that water is here in this second, and now it's down in Cornwall. You're making, the logic of that to me absolutely makes no sense, Vinnie,
Makes
because
no sense. You think those wells over there that they're gonna drill that say that
I don't know what
it's
that's
not
gonna
connected
happen.
to our
That's
aquifer?
up to DEC. That's a different municipality, that's a different
And
problem.
we're supporting them with our water. They don't have the water to sustain what they have now, and we're giving up.
So that
we're
water
selling our
will come-
third party,
that water-
Wholesale, because he used to have a business in town where we made more money when he had his own meter, but now he's making more money because it's wholesale. And they're sustaining what they have because of our water. We need to protect the village, and I would love to hear the opinion of everybody on the board, not just the mayor, everybody.
I just gave you mine.
Thank you.
I'll give you mine, I have no problem. Yes, what is happening in South Blooming Grove is a travesty to the earth. I will be the first to admit that. I also know that our water levels are monitored each and every day. And I know when our levels go low, we cut off those sales. Just like last summer, they were cut off for 3 weeks because our levels were not high enough. As a human being, water is a necessary element. And you may not like, and I may not like the administration of South Blooming Grove, but if I have the ability to help another human being who is in distress, I will do that as long as it does not affect the population of this village.
Gordon?
I personally don't have a comment for this at the moment.
Steve?
I think we should continue to sell it. 'Cause again, not everything is going where you think it's going, and even if we stop, they're still gonna get water anyway. We can't look at what he does with the water, okay? This is pool season. The guy takes 4 or 5 trailer fulls per pool to fill up a pool, which is like over 40,000 gallons, right? The trucks are only, what, 7,000 or 8,000 gallons. We can't control what he does with it. Just like she said, you know, you can't tell a food manufacturer where they can distribute their food.
Paul?
A comment and a question, I guess. Paul on, Johnny?
Okay.
First of all, that $95 million water line project, that's what it cost, $95 million is going to Palm, that water is earmarked to go to Palm Tree, city of Palm Tree, the town of Palm Tree. The Palm Tree and the DEC have to agree to channel that water anywhere else. So that water can't go anywhere else other than Palm Tree. That's where it's going. So legally, it can't go anywhere else. The other thing was, there was an issue about the Department of Health saying that our water, outside water, shouldn't even be going into those tanks down in South Blooming Grove. So I don't know if that makes us complicit as part of
What was the statement?
the Department of Health
Yeah.
is not allowing outside water to go into those holding tanks up on Galveston in South Blooming Grove. Check it out. So we're sending that, whoever is sending whatever water is going down, it's going down there against Department of Health violations. That was the comment. The question I have is part-time building inspector. So we hired last meeting, right?
Correct.
So knowing that he has a full-time job, what kind of hours is he gonna be working?
Just a
Wait.
full-time job.
Who has a full-time job?
The new building inspector?
No, he does not.
He quit?
What, there was never
He
full-time.
He
was
was
not
not
full-time.
full-time.
He wasn't full-time?
8
Up in
hours.
Baybrook?
8 hours.
No,
8 hours a week. in
Oh,
May.
8 hours a week?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
How many hours has he worked for us so far?
Right now, 8 hours.
Total of 8 hours since we hired him?
He's worked so far a total of 8 hours,
yeah.
and he will be, right now, starting at 8 hours a week.
No, but he'll be working in the middle of the day, right?
No, he will be working from 8 to 12, twice
Oh,
a
okay,
week.
that's what I'm saying, business hours.
Yes,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
and to potentially increase that, right now, we're at 8 hours.
Any other questions? All right, no other questions. Can I have a motion to close the meeting, please?
Motion to close.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thanks very much for coming, everybody. Appreciate it.
Turn the AC on, huh?
I wish.
I dropped my coat and my.